You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
The Trek Files, Season 13, Episode 4, Star Trek III Call Sheet, Monday, September 19th, 1983.
Welcome to The Trek Files, a look into the archives of Roddenberry Entertainment from the personal files of Gene Roddenberry. And now your host, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek.
Welcome back to The Trek Files, your weekly deep dive into the actual unpublished archives of Star Trek's creator, Gene Roddenberry. Hey, it's the only podcast with paperwork. Now, look, for all you Star Trek history buffs and tech heads and canonistas, I say that lovingly, yes, all you Trekophiles spelled with an F, we have a truly special one for you today. Now look, you can find all of our paperwork, as usual, at our new one-stop shop on Memory Alpha at thetrekfiles.com. And that's where you can find this week's document. It's a day's call sheet from the shooting of Star Trek III. Now look, we celebrated the Search for Spock often across 2024 for its 40th anniversary. But this week's return to Star Trek III is thanks to the opportunity I had live at Creation's mission to San Francisco to sit down for a conversation with the great Christopher Lloyd, who's given us so many great character roles. But yes, in Trekland, he's our own beloved Klingon Commander Kruge. And our document this week is for his very first day on set, back in 1983. And now look, he sat for so many interviews over the years, but only a fraction of them are about his days on Genesis. And even then, there's some corners that have not yet had the Dr. Trek treatment. So yes, I had questions. Starting with my own, being surprised, doing the math on my own early, and realizing that Christopher here is now a spry 87. And as you'll hear, he relished his time on stage, though it was brief, with me, and answering questions from the audience, too. Take a listen.
Star Trek III, Producer Harve Bennett, Director Leonard Nimoy, Monday, September 19th, 1983, Day 25 out of 49 days. Crew call, 8 a.m. Set, Interior Bird of Prey Bridge, Scenes 15, 18, 19, 22, 25. Light change from cloaked to decloaked, Scene 15. Cast and day players, Christopher Lloyd, Kruge. Makeup, 5:30 a.m. Set call, 9 a.m.
Is everybody trekking well today? All right. Well, let's get right into it. Here's, you always have that joke about the man needs no introduction, but we're going to do this to him anyway. You knew him from so many faces, and maybe we can touch on those, but this is a Star Trek weekend, and I'm going to see if we can just kind of sidle in some parts about the great Lord Kruge from Star Trek III. Let's bring him out right now. Christopher Lloyd. And there we are. Wow, I think, it's one of those situations where you have to see, but they're there. This is a good crowd. This is a good crowd. I think I got to talk to you about 10 minutes at your table at Vegas about 10 years ago. So this is a great honor for me to finally have a conversation. Big finish. Well, I'm folks that know me, I'm a behind the scenes background person, and it's been a long time. And of course, I think Doc Brown gets all the attention. Your fans, probably, and all that. I don't know how often you get to talk about, oh, sure, of course. The trilogy, but there's Clue, and there's Roger Rabbit, and all those other ones. I don't know how often you get to, this in the big picture, when you have a general audience, does Kruge and Star Trek III come up with people?
It does. Yeah, there's a lot of fans out there of Star Trek, and they like my rendition of Captain Crew
Well, here, so let me take you back then. So Reverend Jim, you've done so much theater. Reverend Jim for Topsy, theater, but at the time of Star Trek III, you hadn't done a lot of movies. Well, you'd Cuckoo's Nest, right, in the group. So what's your memory of them approaching you to do Kruge? Do you remember how they came? Because Leonard Nimoy was directing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was puzzled because I thought, sometimes early on and even now, I get cast, and I think, what is it about me that made them think I should do this role? What is it? Some mannerism, the way I talk, the way I think. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a bit odd. So, Leonard Nimoy, I think, just came to me one day and said, somebody took me to somebody's house, producer, I think.
Harv Bennett?
Huh?
Harv Bennett
Could be.
was the producer.
That was kind of right.
I was reading just a little bit from other people talking. Wasn't a lot from you, so that's why I was curious. Apparently, as they did Star Trek III, and of course the villains were supposed to be Romulans early on, and then they were made into Klingons because someone thought that would be more interesting. But they didn't change the name of the ship because Bird of Prey was Romulan, and that's why. But they had read lots of people for. They said that Kruge was the hardest thing of the whole production to cast and get down, and they'd read many people, and no one got it. And for a while, Leonard wanted Leonard James Olmos, but the studio didn't think he was. They loved him, but they didn't think he was big enough to inhabit the character.
Oh, who was that?
Olmos, who was famous from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, so that was and then somehow your name came up and everybody glommed onto you and you were amenable to it.
There you go. We're told I started.
Now, let me also go back to 1982 and 83. Star Trek was getting popular enough they wanted to do more movies, but the fans were still the geeks hadn't won the geek revolution yet. So I'm going to ask you, were you aware of Star Trek? I mean, Star Trek was an entertainment thing, but did you have any insight? You were a fan or even like, oh yeah, Star Trek's that show?
I had kind of a passing interest. I mean, I would be channeling along, and I'd see it, I'd watch it because I was, curious. But I never really it didn't and what did put me, I found it fascinating, the era, the space, because, the science of it, but maybe it was just too intellectual for me. Oh, okay.
You and J.J. Abrams think the same. He said it, I didn't. It's in the meme. It's in the Jon Stewart meme. Because I'm curious, did you see the first movie or The Wrath of Khan with Ricardo Montalban? Just in the theater? Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine from Matthews School, Walter Kading.
Oh, yes.
I've heard of him. And so it was kind of a reunion to be working with him.
Now, you didn't get many scenes with him, but he was there. So when they come to you and shut up, yeah. When they come to you and say, okay, we want you to play a Klingon, you had a vague idea what was going on.
Yeah, because I remember what that looked like.
Yeah.
I'd see, and I kind of love that stuff.
Okay, I was going to say, you weren't intimidated by the makeup. Obviously, you did the performance, but going in, you were like, okay.
Yeah. No, I call it stuff. I mean, as long as it really enhances the character, that's fits the character.
You see it as a bonus, not something to then screaming. Was there much of it when they had you come in and get fitted and fit the makeup and all that? Was that?
I loved it. I love that uniform. I mean, it made you feel like there might be some clinging in his blood.
Your body.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I think so. The first, and I was going to check on this. So some of the scenes were in the ship on the bridge with the other Klingons, John Larroquette and the rest of the Klingons first, and your girlfriend gets wiped. You're talking to Scream.
Yeah, that's always. I have a conversation with my girlfriend, who had been galaxies away somewhere in her space path, and we have a nice little discussion, conversation. I remember, I think I told her politics.
Right. Well, she knew, so she had to be eliminated, basically.
Yeah. And so my kind of distant sweetheart, sort of said goodbye. I pressed the button, pull it up. I mean, come on! Oh, and that was so.
I never thought I'd see the Reverend Jim side of Kruge, but I think I just saw it. No, so I mean, it feels like the basic bit of the show, of the film, was the bridge scenes with the crew, and then on the planet before things go to hell, and then at the end there with the crew, and you had the whole crew and Walter and stuff, and then the face off with Kirk at the end.
Yeah, that what was the thing?
Oh, Shatner.
Well, yeah, William Shatner.
Yeah.
And when I run into people and say, "What are you doing now?" Well, I'm going to do this, Return of Spock. And it'd be worthy of William Shatner. But good Rob. It was like, I'm running into nature. But we had that fight at the end and loved it. I mean, it's just with a fake planet blowing up.
Yeah.
Burning up.
And the practicals and the machinery lifting.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Actor's dream.
That was, well, and you had the giant worm wrestling bit.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That super war.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
So, I began to feel it.
I felt it. Yes, you sold it. You know what? I just taught one of those things that's in the movie that they do all the time, and they don't give a name or a title, whatever. Did you, the little pet monster dog at your feet on the chair?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, is it a Tark? I mean, we can retcon it, Tark. They didn't say at the time. What I want to know is, did you guys have like a pet nickname for it?
White dope with them. I remember that. Though.
Yeah. I think Kirk Thatcher was in the ILM team that was animating. I know. I'm just curious if little things that popped up and we shake something loose here. I know we try to make it a Tark, Yeah, but So here's the thing, though. So Leonard talked to you, wanted you to come in, be part of it. This was Leonard's first feature to direct. Do you remember? Did he as he he had the whole cast. Had you? We had there's mechanical effects. Do you remember at any time in your back of your mind thinking, okay, this is Leonard's first movie, I'm wondering how he's going to do? Or did you ever have a thought that way?
I mean, he certainly seemed to know what he was doing. There was not like it was tentative or anything. He knew the deal, what was, but he'd been doing it. Maybe as an actor, when you're in something over time, you begin to have an attitude about the director. And then you begin to say to yourself, well, if I was doing this scene, that's not the way I would do it.
Yeah.
And you ride, and he had that kind of command. So, and he was lovely. He was a wonderful man. Yeah, to language.
And they had him back, obviously.
Yeah.
For the next movie. Did you watch any more movies after this one was done, or keep up with the Star Trek world?
I didn't keep up with it.
Well, you had your world was about to. It's because I was going to say. I say that because your world was about to blow. You had a trilogy to get done, so for the next few years. So, yeah. But you know that we overlooked this because there were some Klingons in the first movie, Mark Leonard, that they were just there to make a point. Oh, look, this thing blew the Klingons away. And they did some Klingon language, and that was a big deal. But they didn't really have characters. It really fell on you and the rest of the, John Larroquette and the other speaking Klingon. It really fell on you to fill out what we think of as the modern Klingon. Was that on your shoulders, or did you do a job?
I didn't. I felt a lot was on my shoulders. I felt it. I had a. Aside from what you've just expressed, it was a challenge for me. I didn't know how it was going to work out, but I was excited about the prospect. I like the character, all that.
Yeah, the bigger than life.
Yeah, well, unavoidably.
They say villains don't think of themselves as villains. They're all on their own mission. They're just trying to get their own goals too.
Yeah.
Was that fairly easy to do with Kruge?
Yeah, I didn't feel I was crossing any lines. He made sense. He made sense. I felt I knew where he was at, and I had no complaints. Let's go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if, everybody I was reading some reviews from Leonard on down, everybody was thrilled. I almost wonder, I started to say he's off. Star Trek is famous for I don't want to say recycling actors, but having people come back. If you hadn't gotten so sucked into a certain time travel franchise, they might have had you back.
Yeah, I felt I had to make a choice.
Yeah. Well, a little less.
Go to the dark world or light.
Well, a little less makeup with Doc Brown, I guess, maybe too. Here's a specific question I was reading, and they were up in the air about this. On the famous "I've had enough of you" and boots him off. There's a reverse shot of Kruge falling off into the loft, right? Did you? Was there some part of that they filmed you actually doing it and not a stunt?
I don't remember that. I remember getting kicked in the face. I don't remember what happened to Kurt the moment after.
Yeah. Well, they do a. There's a big long shot, and it obviously becomes. They didn't even put a stuntman at the lava, the digital lava. But there were readings where they thought they at least did something with you, like on the reverse, the big shot, Kurt's nodding camera. It's just you coming down. Okay, okay. I thought surely they're not going to risk.
Yeah. One thing I remember is they had a dictionary of Klingonese. And this is a dictionary. It's about that thick. Small letters of every Klingon word, just like Webster's dictionary. The pronunciation, the meaning, the etymology, so to speak, of where it came. It was astounding. A totally fictitious thing. We got Webster's dictionary.
I think I saw so Mark Okrand is the one that came up with that. He's a linguist and did he coach you? Did he come to set and kind of a academic guy? Okay. Well, you had good support all the way through on everything Klingon, it sounds like. Yeah. Well, listen, do you feel up to taking a couple of questions? All right, let me hit with this.
No, please, I would love to.
I just wanted to thank you, the moderator, for asking so many good questions. And for this last question, I just wanted to know, over your career, you have two genres that I think of your career. The first being comedy, then science fiction. And for your science fiction roles, what kind of drew you to those roles to do them? Because it's within that genre, it's also so varied between Kruge, John Big Booty, and Adventures of Prepper Bonsai, and Doc Brown and such. So, what was that? Just trusting the process? Was it kind of knowing who you would be working with and kind of being excited about that, or was it just reading a script and wanting to take off?
Somehow offers came up from that general genre. I've never tried to steer myself towards certain roles. Although at this time in my life, I feel like I want to steer myself toward a role. But back then, I just took what came. And I was offered a lot of bad guys. And so, I'm sorry, what was it?
Oh, just what kind of drew you to those roles, but it's like you just kind of...
Well, there also is people who say, bad guys are fun to play. They do shit that nobody else can get away with. And it's for me strange and eerie. It's dramatic, a lot of dramatic stuff, so... And I kind of read that way, so... There you go. There we go.
Well, you took what you had.
We like the way you lean, Chris.
All right, everybody, let's get a good cross right now. Just give it up for the Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, listen to that audience. Yes, it was a great thrill to have that opportunity to give Chris the Trek Files treatment, and now share him with a far greater audience than the live group that day. Hey, all props to Mark Leonard and crew for the prologue of the motion picture. But look, alongside his many other memorable roles, let's indeed remember that it was Christopher Lloyd who really helped solidify the archetype of the modern, uprated, bumpy-head Klingon persona that we have had ever since. Kapla to you, Chris. The Trek Files is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. All of our documents are available at our new home on Memory Alpha, which you can access directly at thetrekfiles.com. And now the Trek Files invites you to a new dedicated community space. Visit patreon.com/mission log and gain access to our exclusive channel for the Trek Files on the Roddenberry Discord. It's an enhanced discussion space with fellow Trekophiles spelled with an F, plus the entire Roddenberry podcast family and audience. And learn about the launch of our new live Trekophiles Talk Hour, on camera or audio, whatever you prefer. I'll join you there on Discord Live every other Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And yes, for even more deep diving of Star Trek behind the scenes, you can still visit Dr. Trek and Portal 47, that's me, at LarryNemecek.com. That is where you can also link in for all of our Trek Files swag and shirts at our TeePublic shop. Trek well, everybody.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.